to beat inflation. So if inflation right now is 4%, you better make sure wherever you're putting your money, you're getting above 4%. And you got to watch out for taxes. Because guess what? We live in America, baby. Taxes is real, right? Taxes is real. You make money, they tax you. You spend money, they tax you. Uncle Sam is coming for his taxes, right? So this is the wealth formula. You got to have money. Don't need to be a lot. Little money grows over time. You got to give your money time to grow. I hate when I sit with clients and they tell me, oh, Dada, how soon can I take the money? You got to give your money time to grow, right? 10, 15, 20 years. Give it time to grow. This is the wealth formula. Now, some of us have debt, and is the debt making you money? If it's making you money, that's a very good thing. And if it's not making you money, you want to make sure that you get out of your debt fast. Fast, right? There's something called a debt roll-up. Did you know by simply putting an extra $100, you look at all of your debt, you write out all of your balance, all of your interest, and you tackle the lowest debt first, pay it off. The money that you were putting in that first debt that you paid off, then now you put it to the next debt and you pay that off. And you keep going until you finish it all, right? Now, of course, we know a mortgage is not going to be that easy. This is why we need to make more money. Because if we make more money, we could put more money towards the mortgage, right? One of my clients told me, by just sending an extra mortgage payment every year, an extra mortgage payment every year got her out of her mortgage 10 years sooner. Instead of 30, 20. But you see, they're not going to tell you and I this because they don't want us to pay it off sooner. Because if we pay it off sooner, they're not making interest off of us, right? So all of your debts, you want to attack it. Especially if it's not making you money. Now, when it comes to finance, there's 3 rules to money. The first rule is compound interest. And this is a formula that you take 72 divided by the rate of return, which is the interest. Wherever you're putting your money, find out what's the interest you're getting. Let's say you're getting 6%. Well, 72 divided by 6 is 12 years. 72 divided by 6 equals 12. So now every 12 years, your money is going to double. Every 12 years. So 10,000 today, 12 years becomes 20. Another 12 years, 40. Another 12 years, 80. What if you're getting 8%? Well, now 72 divided by 8 is going to double every 9 years. And what if you're getting 10%? Because you know where to put your money to get 10%. Well, guess what? At 10%, your money is doubling now every 7.2. 7 years and 2 months. How many of us on this Zoom right now had a series of 7 years? Did your money double every 7 years? Mine did not double every 7 years. And some people, even though it doubled, guess what? They lost too within that 7 years, right? So $10,000 at a 10% in 36 years becomes $320,000. Because at 10%, it is doubling every 7 years and 2 months. There's a lot of 7 years and 2 months that all of us went by already. But did your money double? If it's in the banks, hell no, it didn't double. The bank is never going to give you 7%. The bank is never going to give you 10%. The bank is never going to give you 8%, right? So what this tells us is wherever you're putting your money right now, you have to get interest high enough just to keep up with inflation. You have to get high enough. So if inflation is 3%, you better be getting more than 3% wherever you're growing or saving or investing your money. Because you got to pay tax and you got to pay inflation, which is the silent killer that a lot of us are not even aware of or even thinking how to calculate this. So this slide pretty much tells us I've got to put my money where I'm going to get a high enough interest. Whatever the inflation rate is and taxes, it has to be high enough to offset those two. Now, okay, that we got to find, we got to put our money where we're going to get a high interest, but where? Let's talk about how is your money growing. If you put your money in the bank is giving you a fixed interest. We had a client on today saving. Most of you guys have Bank of America. I have Bank of America. Bank of America is like on every block in New York, right? But what is interest rate? A whopping 0.0 something, okay? Not even 1%. And now that you know the rule of 72, even if they were giving you 1%, that means your money would double in 72 years. Let's be real, not everybody gets to grow old. And even if it did double in 72 years, inflation is through the roof in 72 years. So when you put your money with the bank, which is considered fixed, yes, your money is safe, but it's not going to grow a lot. When you put your money in the stock market, right, it's up and down, right? It's up and down. You can make a lot of money, but you can lose a lot of money. It is what it is. You have growth, but you do not have safety. That is a stock market. I had a client call me today. She's like, Odetta, I want to invest $500,000, but what kind of stuff do you recommend? I said, well, talking to me, you ain't ever going to lose no money, okay? Listen, I sleep good at night because we're not losing no money over here. I cannot have no client ever call me and say, Odetta, you made me do this and I lost $100,000. I could never do those type of work. I could never, ever, ever, ever do those type of business. Because I know I don't like losing money. And this is why I got started with this. And an index account is the best of both worlds. You have safety, just like the bank, and you have growth, just like the stock market. So now ask yourself, where do you have your money in these three buckets with regards to these three buckets? Do you have all of it in the bank or most of it in the bank where it's fixed, it's safe, but it's not growing much? Or do you have it in a variable bucket, your job, 401k, IRA, mutual fund, where yes, you're making money, but then you're also losing money. So how could you really control your future if you don't even know how much you're going to have in the future? Because your money is going up and down based on how the stock market performs. Guess what? You could have the best of both worlds with an index account where it's safe and it's growing. Where it's safe and it's growing, okay? It's safe and it's growing. And that's how you control your future, because I know when I'm 65, baby, there is nothing rocking this boat, okay? My money is safe and it is growing, period, right? I ain't got to watch the news, see which .com what just went down, see which president did whatever. No, honey, right? You got to control your future. And this is what we're teaching families here, to save and control your future, at least financially, right? So how would you like your money to grow? Now that you know the three categories, how would you like your money to grow? Now, historically, this tells us the market is up and down. It is what it is. There's no surprises. We all know this, right? We all know this. Since 1928 with the S&P, there's rise and fall, right? Look at the green, look at the purple, right? Who remembers the .com crash in 2000? Who remembers the great crash in 2008? Who remember COVID? Guys, most of us on this Zoom was around for all of this. Now, we don't know what's going to come in the future. We don't know what's coming down the pipeline in the future. So what if you were scheduled to retire in the year 2000? What if you were scheduled to retire in the year 2008? What if you were scheduled to retire in the year 2019? How your money looking now? You would have lost. You would have lost big time, right? So we know the market goes up and down. Nobody's talking about the downs, but we are. And why is it important to talk about it? Because there's something called average versus actual. You see, when people say to me, oh, Dad, I lost money, but it's okay, I'm going to make it back. Hold on. What you mean you're going to make it back? You might make it back, but you woulda, shoulda, coulda had more. You woulda, shoulda, coulda had more had you known this information. Because let's say year one, the market was down 10%, average, right? So your $100 down 10% is $90. Okay, it is what it is. That if the market goes up and down, I'm okay with it. Okay, year two, the market goes up 10%. So you're probably thinking, oh, the market went down 10, the market is back up 10, I'm good. No, you're not. It's 10% of $90. See, they're not teaching this in school. And your stockbroker's not going to tell you this either. So now your $90, 10% of your $90 is 99. It's not 100. So you still lost, you still down, you still behind, right? That's the actual part that nobody's talking about. Let's say it was 20%. Year one, the market was down 20%. Your $100 minus 20% is $80. Year two, the market went back up 20%. Like, oh my God, oh, Dada, don't worry. I lost 20, but I got back my 20%. Hold up, Missy. 20% of $80. Whatever was your account value, it's the percentage of that account value. So 20% of $80 is 96. You still losing. And this is with 20%. You had $100. Now you're down to 96. You still losing. Right? You're not ahead. You're still behind. And what if the market was down 50%? Man, listen, just learning this alone is a game changer. Just learning this concept alone is a game changer. What this should tell you and I is you should never put your money where you're going to lose. The market down 50%. Your $100, 50% down, you got $50 left. $50 left. That's what you got left. The market went back up 50% and you thinking you're good. It's 50% of $50. Whatever was your account value, right? Guys, this, if everybody just understand this alone in America, people will not be doing what they're doing. Or if they are, they wouldn't have all of their investment in these type of accounts. They wouldn't have their entire retirement that they're working so hard, slaving away, 401k, IRA, stocks, and all of these accounts that are going up and down. And they don't even know this. Just this concept alone, average versus actual, is a game changer. Why aren't they teaching this in school? Right? Like I said, it's bigger than you and I. There's a difference between average and actual, right? And we got to watch for inflation because, like I said, nothing is getting cheaper. Nothing is getting cheaper. A new home in the 70s was $23,400. Oh my God. Can you imagine? $23,000 in the 70s. In the 90s, it was $123,000. Today, I'm in New York, so you're lucky if you find anything for $500,000. Like, if you find anything for $500,000, that's going to be a fixer-upper. You're going to have to spend a lot of money to make it pretty, okay? Nothing is getting cheaper, guys. Nothing is getting cheaper. So what this tells you and I is we got to make more money. Because the longer you and I live, we're going to be spending more. We're going to be spending more. So we got to make more, right? We got to make more. So when you see these multimillionaires and billionaires, you wondering, they got all this money. Why are they still doing all of this stuff? They know this stuff. They understand this stuff. That's why they're still making more. They got millions and billions, but they're still making more. Because they understand inflation. They understand taxes. They know what they're going to be spending more too. And their lifestyle is ridiculous. So they're going to be spending more. Right? So your $100 today, okay, that is seeming like a lot of money. Your $100 today is not going to buy you a lot of stuff in the future. When I first came to this country in whatever year it was, my mom, I would always remember, she would go to the grocery store, Pat Mark. $100 will give her a wagon, okay? A wagon mountain to the top with grocery. Today, you lucky if you get 2 bags of grocery with that same $100. So we got to make more money, people. There's no, we can't avoid it. We got to make more money, right? If you're not making more money, you're going to be broke, or you're going to be struggling in the future, because nothing is getting cheaper. And now let's talk about taxes. It's also important to understand taxes. And none of us are not going to know these things because they don't teach this in school, right? This is why all my educators, we got to get more educators on board. So if they don't allow us to teach this in school, we could teach this outside of school and educate our community. Because right now, they don't allow us to teach personal finance in school. It's not mandated. So you could go to school your whole life and never learn none of this stuff. I'm at the point right now where I told my university, if y'all don't give me a personal finance class, I'm not teaching next semester. And I could only do that because of WFG. If I didn't have WFG, I would have got to suck it up and teach business. But because of this knowledge that I bring, I could confidently tell them, hey, if y'all don't give me a personal finance class to teach, I am not teaching next semester. So guess what? The table is on them. Let them go figure it out. I'm not losing nothing. I'm going to teach this. Whether it's in the classroom or out the classroom, I'm going to teach this information. So let's talk about taxes. Where are you putting your money? There's 3 tax family. Tax now is your checking, savings, CD, stocks, mutual fund. You and I get paid. We put the money in these accounts, right? You get paid, you pay tax. You put the money in these accounts, any gains, any growth, any interest, well, now they're going to tax you under capital gain. It's called capital gain, right? Tax later, these are the accounts that our jobs are giving us. The 401ks, 403b, 457, IRA, right? Annuity, pension, TSP, if you're in the post office. Well, guess what? When you and I work, and we put all our money in this account, did you know that all of this money is going to get taxed? How much? So let me ask you the question. Do you think taxes are going to go up or down in the future? What do you guys say? Up or down? Is taxes going to go up or down, right? Up or down? It's going to go up for sure. Nothing is getting cheaper, people. Nothing is getting cheaper. So if nothing is getting cheaper, your $100 that you're going to go to the grocery store with that's going to give you less grocery, you're going to be paying more. And taxes will go up. All forms of taxes. Like, we're seeing this happening right now. Right now we're seeing it, right? How they're always cutting stuff. So if taxes is going to go up, do you want to pay tax that you don't even know how much, but you got all this money? You got $1 million in your 401k. And you think you're good because you got $1 million in your 401k. But the question we should be asking is, how much tax am I going to pay on that $1 million? You don't know. You don't know how much tax you're going to pay on that $1 million. So if you don't know, why are you putting all your money in accounts that are taxed later? We don't know what we don't know, right? And then the third bucket is your tax advantage. I mean, the word itself, advantage, is like a giveaway. The word advantage itself is already telling you this is the advantage that you're getting when you put your money in these accounts. From a tax perspective, you're ahead. It's an advantage. You're keeping more money in your pocket because you're going to pay tax today. So when it grows to whatever that big amount is, you keep all of it. Listen, I'd rather have $1 million in a tax advantage account because I know I'm going to keep $1 million versus have $1 million in a 401k and I don't know how much I'm going to pay in taxes. Does that make sense? Guys, the more I understood this business, I realized, you know what? If everybody knew this stuff, nobody would be making these mistakes when it comes to money because it's just common sense. But again, we were never educated. We were never shown the options. So if we were never presented and we don't know, we can't make the best decision if we don't know. So understanding taxes now will have you thinking, where do I have most of my money? Do I have most of my money in a tax later account where I'm going to pay God knows how much? I don't know, but I'm going to pay more. I don't know, but I'm going to pay more. Why would you want to pay more? Who wants to pay more? Nobody wants to pay more of anything, right? So we got to save, people. We got to save our future. So let's say you're making $60,000 a year. The recommended number is 10% of your income. Set aside in an account that's going to grow your money. That's going to beat inflation. That's going to grow your money and never lose your money. That's going to grow your money and you don't have to pay taxes because it's a tax advantage account. So if you're making $60,000 and you set aside 10%, and we should set aside 10%, because 10% we tie to God be the glory, because without God, we ain't got no energy, we ain't got no job, we ain't got no work, we ain't got no roof over our head, we ain't got no food. So 10% goes to the church. And then the other 10%, you pay yourself. You pay yourself. And the 80%, the bills are getting it. Everybody else is getting that 80%. So when you really think about it, you should save 10%. Now that I learned this up, I'm mad with myself too for not knowing this, because yeah, I saved, but if I had known this early, if I had known these principles, everybody else is getting my money. Why I should be saving at least 10%, because everybody else is getting it, right? So 10% of 60,000, that's $500 a month, which is $17 a day. Some of us are spending this. How about if we were saving it? Let's switch gears. Instead of spending it, how about we save it? You know what that would look like for you? Saving it in that account, earning just 8%. In 30 years, you're looking at almost $800,000. And what if you put it in an account that's giving you 10%? You're looking at over $1 million. Some of us have been in this country for 30 years already. Some of us, I'm coming up on my 30th year. And it's sad to say that I don't even have $1 million tax-free in an account that I could never lose. In an account that's protecting me. $1 million tax-free. Tax-free. Cash in an account. Why? Because we didn't know better. But guess what? After this Zoom, the buck stops with us. Because now that we know it, this is why I'm glad Janae said, everybody got to come on board. Because this is something that we all should have, would have, could have been doing, but we didn't know. But now we know. So there's no more excuse. We know the information now. We know what the wealthy is doing. If your money right now doesn't have this growth strategy, you got to grow the money, because we know inflation is going to go up. We know things are going to get more expensive. So your money has to be in a strategy that's going to grow. Not the bank at 0.0 whatever, right? But we also want that money to be safe, because no sense growing it and you could lose it next month when the market go down next month or next year or next whatever, right? You got to have this 4 component. Your money has to grow. Your money has to be safe. 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 This is why us black people, we love the bank, because the bank is safe, but the bank is not giving us the growth. Watch out for taxes. Okay? Watch out for taxes, because taxes going up. So we want to make sure the money is tax advantage. And then the 4th box is protection. Because listen, we're all human beings. We're going to die someday, whether we want to believe it or not. We're going to die someday. And some of us that are blessed enough to live to old age, we're going to get sick someday. And I'm telling you guys right now, my mom is staying with me for 3 weeks. And all I could say, once a man, twice a child. Once a man, twice a child. Once a man, twice a child. The older we get, life is going to happen. The older we get, if we get to live to 80, 90, 100, your money better be there. Your money better be there to have that home health aid. Because a lot of us, we love to say, oh, my kids are going to take care of me. No, they're not. They're not going to take care of you. Your kids are not going to take care of you. We would love to fool ourselves. They may not even be financially equipped to take care of you. What are they going to do? Leave their job to stay home with you? They're going to have their own family. What if they're not even in the country or in the state? My mom moved to Florida. My dad is still here. But life is life. You never know where you're going to be when you retire. You never know who your kids are going to marry. You may love your kids and think your kids are going to be wonderful, but you don't know who they're going to marry. You don't know what life is going to look like for them. So all of us that are always saying, oh, my kids are going to take care of me, I'll be the first to tell you they're not. The numbers are not matching, okay? So let's stop saying these kids are going to take care of us, because these kids today, that's a whole nother webinar, okay? These kids today are not like the kids from before. That's a whole nother webinar. You're lucky if you're in a nursing home and they come to see you, okay? They ain't even coming to see you. They may come and see you for Mother's Day and Father's Day. Good luck. Good luck, right? So you need protection. I say all of that to say you need protection. Because guess what? Once the money is there, they're going to come around. And if they don't come around, your money will hire a lovely home health aide who's going to take care of you, because that's her paycheck. That's her salary. She's going to take good care of you. She ain't even going to want you to die or get sick, because that's a salary for her. Okay? We need protection. We all need protection. We all need protection, because someday we're going to die. Someday we're going to get old. And don't be counting on these kids. Do not be counting on these kids. I mean, when they're little, they're nice. But when they're 20, 30, 40, good luck. Okay? Good luck. Right? So you got to have these 4 components with your money. You got to have these 4 components, because you're going to get sick. These are things other communities are thinking of, and they're putting things in place. They know they're going to get sick. Yeah, we're not calling it an ourselves, but we're just being wise, and we're putting things in place. God forbid. Yes, God forbid. But we're going to put things in place. And if it never happens, to God be the glory. But we're going to put things in place, just in case, right? So, when building a house, you need to make sure all aspects of your house, the foundation, the roof, the electric, plumbing, everything works together. Most people, they have their finances on the left. They have no financial education. They are not budgeting. They have a lot of liabilities. They're not saving enough for their retirement, or if they are, where? Right? We have a longevity thing going on, because yes, we're living longer. Yes, we have modern medicine. Yes, we have AI technology and all this great stuff, right? Most of us are more health conscious. We're doing whatever we're doing to live longer, and that's great. We don't understand taxes. We're not even doing estate planning. Nobody's talking about estate planning. Nobody's doing a will or a trust, right? So guess what? Everything is like mumble jumble. But when you work with us, bit by bit, we're going to build your financial house. We're going to start with the education. We don't sell, we educate. You're going to come and learn on Zoom or in person. We have workshops, right? You're going to work with one of us that are licensed to help you with putting proper protection in place. Whatever you need help with, whatever you need help with when it comes to your personal finance, we're going to help you and build your financial house from the bottom up. You're going to get a financial checkup, right? You're going to understand where your money is going. Do you have a lot of debt? Do you have a lot of bills? Are you even saving? What are your goals? What's going on with your kids saving? Or maybe you're like me, you have no kids. So, okay, we ain't got to worry about kids savings. But we do got to worry about these retirement coins. Because guess what? We ain't got any kids. And even if we did have kids, we know these kids may not be around when we're 70, 80, 90. Okay? And we don't want to be a burden to them either. Because they're going to have their own life and their own kids and their own family. Right? So you're going to go to a financial checkup to see what's going on with your house. Just like taxes, everybody's information is going to be different, right? Based on your age, based on what kind of work you do, based on how much you can save, based on what your goals are. Everybody's situation is different. This is why you want to get in touch with the person who invited you on this webinar to set up a one-on-one, right? We're going to set some goals. When I first started here, I'm like, oh my God, goals? I've never even set goals before. Yeah, set goals. And when you're in this environment, oh, you will be setting goals because this is what you're going to be hearing about all the time. Money, 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 money. Yes, right? We're in the financial business. We're supposed to talk about money. We're supposed to be learning. We have workshops. When you pay $125, and I recommend everybody on this Zoom invest in yourself because like I said, you're not going to learn this at school because we don't teach this in school. When you pay $125 to become part of a financial education platform, well, every Monday and Thursday, we have workshops. So if you miss one Monday, who cares? Come on the next one. If you miss one Thursday, who cares? Come on the next one. You know, we have things going on all the time. These are some of the workshop topics. Finance 101, which is what we're doing tonight, right? Workshop 1, building savings and wealth. Who's talking about saving money? Your friends are not talking about saving money. Your friends are not talking about building wealth. My friends are not talking about saving and building wealth. WFG, we are, but outside of WFG, ain't nobody talking about saving money and building wealth? Building wealth? No, right? Workshop number 2, we have a workshop that's going to strategically show you how to become debt-free, how to manage your debt. Because if it's a debt that's not making you money, you're losing money because you're paying somebody else when that money could have been paying to you, right? And you're always going to hear me say, we got to increase our cash flow. We got to increase our cash flow. You have to make more money. Even if you're doing good, put yourself in position to bring in an extra $5,000 a month. Put yourself in position to bring in an extra $3,000 a month because nothing is getting cheaper, right? Workshop number 3, we go through proper protection. There's all types of life insurance, right? You have burial plan. You have final expense. You have term. You have, like, there's so many different, when you talk to people about insurance, all they know is one type. The type you pay for, you don't get nothing. And when you die, your family gets the money. Well, that type is there too. But I want the wealthy type. I want the type that Warren Buffett has, which I do have, right? Because of WFG, right? Workshop number 4, we talk about health and wealth. Because guess what? If you're making a lot of money and your health is not good, you ain't gonna enjoy this money. And if you're healthy, but you ain't got no money, well, I don't know. It's kind of like a, double-edged sword. No, you want to be healthy and you want to be wealthy. You don't want to just be healthy and you ain't got no money. Because where you going? Around the block? Are you going to get on a plane and go to Bora Bora? No, you're around the block, right? Because you ain't got the funds to go to Bora Bora, right? Workshop number 5, understanding asset strategies and accumulation. Guess what? You might be putting your money in the right place, but you see that stuff that I just showed you about actual and average? You got to build the wealth smart. You got to understand that when you're losing money, that's not good, right? Workshop number 6, fulfilling your long-term goals. And workshop number 7, we got to make more money, right? Empowering families. You could be teaching this stuff to your community, right? Because I don't know who you know. I don't know who you know, right? So we could take this to your community, take this to your people, take this to your church, take this to your school, take this to your block, take this to your association. I had a person reached out to me from Georgia. She's like, Dad, I want you to come out to my condo association. I'm like, okay. I was on a plane. I'm out there talking to these homeowners. right? Take it to our community. So financial security is not a dream. It is a priority. And the reason why we are not getting it right because we never were educated on money concept. So this business is a good business. We are educating people about money, how to spend their money, how to use their money, how to grow their money, how to protect their money. All right? And then we have the workbook, and then we have our own book. So one more note, will your current situation allow you to reach your goals? If you like, Odetta, this all sounds good. Okay, but what action are you going to take? Where you are right now, your current situation, is it going to allow you to reach your goals? Well, first of all, most of us don't even set goals. We're just living la vida loca. We're just going through the motion. So we're not even setting goals. But I know that something that I said tonight resonated with you. I know that something that I said tonight you learn. I know that something I said tonight you're going to put into practice or want to know more about. So this is why you're going to contact the person who invited you to get more insight. Let us know what stood out to you. And based on what stood out to you, when we sit down for that one-on-one, we could explore deeper. But I can tell you, if you don't do nothing, your current situation is going to be the same for your future situation. If nothing changed, nothing changed. And this is why I do this business. It's not going to be the same for me. Maybe it was the same for my parents because they didn't know better. But now that I got this information, I'm going to do better. And my nieces and nephews going to do better because of this information. So the buck stops today. You guys got this information today. The buck stops today. You know better. Let's do better. All right. So what are some options? Well, you could consider coming aboard with us. Get your license like Janae just did, right? So a month or two from now, you're doing your grand opening. Put yourself in position to help your community, to educate your community, and to make part-time income. How much? But it all depends on how much you want to make. What's your hustle? How much you want to be into this business, right? Get licensed and educate families and create multiple sources of income. Because this one business pays us 7 different ways. Yes, this one business pays us 7 different ways. So why am I going to go look for a part-time job when I could have this one business pay me 7 different ways and build something that I could pass down to my kids. When you die, your job ain't passing to nobody, okay? They're gonna have a sign saying hiring. They're gonna have a sign saying hiring, okay? Over here, there's no sign saying hiring. My book of business is going to pass to my nieces and nephews. And if you have kids, it's going to pass to your kids. Just make sure they get licensed. Position your kids. Put them in position to get licensed, and that's it. Just put them in position, right? So we have a survey. You can take a screenshot or just let us know what stood out to you. What are you interested in learning more about? Number 1, are you suffering with financial loss, right? Number 2, are you concerned about your debt? If you have too much bills, you have too much debt. Are you concerned about lack of savings? Maybe you're not good with saving money. You need help saving for your investment or retirement. Maybe you have kids. Are you concerned about maybe setting up something for your kids' college, right? I showed you guys the flyer. Next Wednesday, we're going to have the college workshop, right? Finding free money and scholarship and funding your kids' college, right? Not having enough protection. What if you get sick? Knock on wood, God forbid. What if there's some major illness that happens? My brother is a double amputee. He is 40 years old. 40, double amputee. Where did that come from? That was like, we never saw that coming, right? Now he's disabled. He's disabled. That's what he's labeled, disabled. For the rest of his life, 40. You know how traumatic that is? Just dealing with this mentally, right? So what do you have in place? What do you guys have in place? God forbid something were to happen major to your health. Luckily, I mean, he never really had any kids. He doesn't have a family. So, you know, we're taking care of him. But what if he had a family? What if he had kids? He would have been a burden to them. Because he didn't put anything in place for himself. And honestly, by the time I got into this business, he was far gone. I tried getting him something, but because of his diagnosis, he can't get anything, right? So what do you have in place if you get ill? Let us know what stood out to you. 9, 10, and 11. Do you want to learn about stuff for your kids? 10, do you want to learn about how money works and making sure that your own financial house is solid? Number 11, are you interested in making more money? What stood out to you the most? So when you contact Janae, let Janae know, okay, this was great. I need help with saving for my kids. This was great. I need help with making more money. This was great. I have a lot of debt. This was great. I need help with my retirement. Whatever it is, let Janae or the person who invited you tonight, let us know what areas of help you need, and we'll schedule a one-on-one, right, to help and share information to help you. Because everybody's situation is going to be different. And we ain't trying to mind your business with 30 people on a Zoom. And then we got people also watching on Facebook because I'm streaming live. Right? Because again, we got to disseminate this information. People need to know this information. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Janae, who's going to close it out with any lasting words.
Okay, thank you so much, Odette. I'm pumped as usual. Every time I'm on these meets, I'm like super pumped. I'm inspired. Thank you so much. I hope my family feels the same way. I hope everyone on this Zoom feels the same.